few days ago, my dad called me saying, and yeah, this is not my dad's voice, it's text-to-speech, but you know.
I have this pain in my leg that came gradually over the last couple of hours.
Then I asked him,
Dad, where exactly is the pain? Is it in front of the leg or in the back of your leg?
He said,
In the back of my leg, in the calf muscle.
to be honest, there is a handful of diagnoses that fits this calf pain complaint. They're literally like 5 or something. You just have to know a little bit more about the history of the patient so that you can correctly pinpoint what is the diagnosis. What made making the diagnosis so easy is that I knew before that my father was on a 15-hour flight from Egypt to the US. He was with me in Egypt. So he went on a flight to the US and then he got this complaint after. So I already figured out what's going on. If you are a medical student, you will understand. I also knew that my father has sarcoidosis, which is a lung disease that actually makes the blood thicker, because when the body has a lung disease, the body responds by making a lot of RBCs or red blood cells that make the blood thicker. And that's in order to increase the oxygen carrying capacity of the blood. At that moment, I was almost sure of my dad's diagnosis. But I had to ask my father a few more questions to make sure that it's not something else.
Do you feel your temperature is high? Do you have any fever?
In which case he might have something called cellulitis, which is a deep infection of the skin by bacteria, by virulent bacteria.
No, I don't have fever.
I also asked him to send me some pictures of both his legs in order to compare. And what I expected was there. His legs were exactly as I imagined them to be, engorged with blood, and some superficial veins are visible on top. And at that moment, I told him,
Dad, you have to go to the ER right now.
if you're a medical student, I guess you already knew the diagnosis since you just saw the picture. Or even maybe when you heard of a calf pain. That's the first thing that probably came to your mind. If you didn't guess the diagnosis yet, think about this. Unilateral calf pain in a 65-year-old patient who has a history of sarcoidosis and a thick blood, in addition to being on a 15-hour flight. Have you guessed it yet?
You might have a clot in your leg, which is called a DVT, or deep vein thrombosis. And if you don't go to the ER right now and get medication, the clot might move to your lungs and it will endanger your life. It's very serious. You have to go to the ER right now.
So my brother took my father to the ER right away, and he's being treated right now with warfarin and the other blood thinning drugs. DVT stands for deep vein thrombosis, which is a blood clot in the legs. The blood clot is due to blood stasis, which what happened with my dad during his 15-hour flight. In addition, he has a lung condition which makes his blood even thicker, which will increase the risk for blood clotting as well. The reason DVT is dangerous is that the clot can move from the leg to the lungs, right? And if somebody has foramen ovale, which is very rare, which is like an opening in between the sides of the heart, it can move and cause like other things other than pulmonary embolism. But let's say the reason it's dangerous is that it can move from the legs to the lungs and block the blood supply to the lungs, leading to infarction and inability to breathe. And this can happen very quickly, which will endanger the life. Anyway guys, thank you so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this video.